Welcome back to ZE Coins channel today. This is not just a penny. It is a time capsule from one of the most dramatic and emotionally charged years in American history. A year when the nation was changing fast, sometimes painfully, and often forever. The year 1968 sits at a crossroads in the American journey. The United States was wrestling with social movements, political unrest, cultural revolutions, and a rapidly evolving economy. While headlines were filled with historic events, the U.S. Mint was quietly doing its job, striking millions of coins that would pass through countless hands. Among them was the Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin that had already been in circulation for nearly 60 years, yet still carried immense symbolic weight. Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse was not chosen lightly. It represented unity, endurance, and the ongoing promise of the American ideal, values that felt especially important during such a turbulent time. In 1968, the Lincoln cent featured the familiar design by Victor David Brenner, with Lincoln's dignified profile facing right. His expression is calm, thoughtful, almost stoic, as if bearing the weight of the nation's struggles. Above his head, the word liberty reminds us that freedom is not just an idea, but a responsibility. The date anchors the coin firmly in history, connecting it to a specific moment when America was questioning itself and searching for direction. For collectors, that date alone carries emotional and historical gravity. Now let's talk about the mint marks, because this is where the story becomes even more interesting. In 1968, Lincoln cents were produced at multiple U.S. mint facilities, most notably Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each mint mark adds a distinct layer of identity to the coin. The mint mark is not just a letter. It is a signature, a subtle clue about where the coin was born and how it entered the world. For collectors, mint marks can dramatically influence desirability, rarity, and ultimately, value. The Denver Mint, identified by the small letter D, was known for its high-volume production and consistent quality. Coins from Denver often circulated widely, traveling far beyond their point of origin. The San Francisco Mint, marked by an S, had a different reputation. By the late 1960s, San Francisco was transitioning into a facility focused more on proof and specialty coins, making its regular circulation strikes especially intriguing to collectors. Each mint mark tells a slightly different story about production techniques, distribution patterns, and survival rates over the decades. The composition of the 1968 Lincoln penny is another key detail that adds to its appeal. These cents were made primarily of copper, giving them that warm, reddish tone that collectors love. There is something deeply satisfying about the look and feel of a copper coin, especially one that has been preserved in excellent condition. Over time, copper reacts with the environment, developing patina, toning, or darkening. While heavily worn or damaged coins may lose appeal, well-preserved examples with original luster can become highly sought after. Condition plays a massive role in determining the worth of a 1968 mint mark Lincoln penny. Coins that have spent decades bouncing around in pockets, jars, and cash registers often show scratches, dull surfaces, and flattened details. These circulated examples are common and usually hold modest value. But coins that were carefully saved, never heavily handled, or professionally graded can exist in a completely different category. Sharp details, strong strikes, minimal marks, and vibrant color can elevate a simple penny into a prized collectible. Collectors often pay close attention to strike quality on 1968 cents. Because the late 1960s were a busy time for the U.S. Mint, some coins were struck with weaker details, especially in Lincoln's hair or the wheat ears and lettering on the reverse. A strong, crisp strike stands out immediately to experienced eyes. When paired with a desirable mint mark and exceptional preservation, such a coin becomes far more than pocket change. There is also a powerful emotional element to collecting coins from this era. Holding a 1968 Lincoln penny is like holding a piece of everyday American life from over half a century ago. Imagine where that coin might have traveled. It could have bought a newspaper reporting on historic speeches, been dropped into a jukebox playing the latest songs of the era, or rested in the pocket of someone watching history unfold in real time. Coins are intimate artifacts. They connect us directly to ordinary people and extraordinary moments. For YouTube viewers and collectors alike, The fascination often grows when they realize that even small coins can carry significant monetary potential. Stories of valuable pennies spark curiosity and excitement. People start checking old jars, inherited collections, or childhood keepsakes, wondering if they might be holding something special. The 1968 mint mark Lincoln penny fits perfectly into this narrative because it looks so familiar, yet under the right circumstances, it can surprise you. Authentication and grading are crucial steps for anyone serious about determining a coin's true worth. Professional grading services evaluate a coin's condition, authenticity, and overall quality, sealing it in a protective holder with an official grade. This process not only protects the coin, but also gives buyers and sellers confidence. A high-grade 1968 mint mark Lincoln penny can command attention and respect in the numismatic market, especially when demand is strong. The market for Lincoln cents has remained steady and passionate for decades. These coins appeal to beginners and advanced collectors alike. Beginners love them because they are accessible, historically rich, and easy to understand. Advanced collectors appreciate the subtle variations, condition rarities, and the challenge of assembling complete, high-quality sets. The 1968 issue sits at a fascinating point in the series, close enough to modern times to feel familiar, yet old enough to feel historic. As time moves forward, surviving high-quality examples naturally become scarcer. Coins are lost, damaged, or melted, and pristine specimens become harder to find. This gradual reduction in supply can increase interest and competition among collectors. That is why understanding the background, condition, and mint mark of a 1968 Lincoln penny is so important. Knowledge transforms curiosity into informed appreciation. Story is not just about a penny. It's about time, craftsmanship, survival, and the hidden world of coin collecting that most people walk past every single day without ever noticing. Welcome to the fascinating journey of the United States of America 1979 D Mint Mark 1 cent Lincoln penny. Coins are more than money. They are storytellers. They travel through hands, pockets, cash registers, and memories. The 1979 D Lincoln penny was born in an era of transition for America. The late 1970s were filled with cultural shifts, economic pressure, rising inflation, and a nation redefining itself. Every penny struck during this time quietly absorbed the energy of the moment, and today it stands as a metallic witness to history. To understand the 1979 D penny, we must first understand the man whose face it carries. Abraham Lincoln is not just a former president. He is a symbol of unity, sacrifice, and leadership during America's most divided era. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of his birth. By 1979, Lincoln had already been appearing on the penny for 70 years, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in American history. The obverse, or front, of the 1979 D penny features Victor David Brenner's iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln. His calm yet determined expression faces to the right, surrounded by the familiar inscriptions that collectors know by heart. These details may seem small, but to numismatists, every curve of Lincoln's coat and every letter's sharpness matters. On the reverse side, you'll find the Lincoln Memorial, a design that was used from 1959 until 2008. Inside the memorial, if you look closely, you can even spot a tiny statue of Lincoln seated within, making this one of the few coins in the world to feature the same person on both sides. Now let's talk about that small but powerful letter D. The mint mark tells us where the coin was made. The D mint mark means this penny was struck at the Denver Mint. The Denver facility has long been known for producing large quantities of coins with strong strikes and consistent quality. In 1979, the Denver Mint was operating at full capacity, responding to America's growing need for circulating coinage during a time when paper money was rapidly losing purchasing power. The year 1979 was not just another date on a calendar. The United States was dealing with energy crises, rising fuel prices, and economic uncertainty. Inflation affected everyday Americans, making even small change feel important. Pennies mattered. They were saved, counted, and sometimes stretched to make ends meet. The 1979 D penny circulated heavily, which is why finding one in exceptional condition today can feel like uncovering a survivor from a financial battlefield. The 1979 D penny was struck primarily from copper, consisting of 95% copper and 5% zinc. This gives the coin its warm reddish-brown tone when well preserved. Later pennies would shift to a zinc core with copper plating, making the 1979 penny part of the last era of traditional copper cents. Collectors appreciate this because copper coins age differently, tone beautifully, and carry a nostalgic weight that modern pennies simply cannot replicate. Most 1979 D pennies lived hard lives. They were dropped on sidewalks, forgotten in car cup holders, and scraped across counters. Because of this, high-grade examples are much scarcer than people realize. A penny that avoided scratches, dents, and heavy wear is like a time capsule. Collectors carefully examine surfaces, luster, and strike quality, looking for coins that appear almost untouched by circulation. One of the most exciting aspects of the 1979 D penny is the possibility of mint errors and varieties. These include off-center strikes, double dies, die cracks, and weak strikes. While not every coin has these features, those that do can dramatically increase interest among collectors. Error coins tell a different story, one of imperfection and human involvement in a massive industrial process. You might wonder why a 1-cent coin from 1979 attracts so much attention. The answer lies in scarcity, condition, and demand. Coin collectors are not just buying metal, they are buying history frozen in time. The 1979 D penny represents the final decades of traditional penny production before major material changes reshaped American coinage forever. Beyond numbers and grades, there is an emotional side to collecting. Many people remember pennies like this from their childhood. They remember the sound of coins in glass jars, the smell of old change, and the excitement of finding a shiny one among dull pieces. Owning a well-preserved 1979 D penny reconnects people with simpler times and tangible history. Over the years, interest in Lincoln cents has steadily grown. As more people learn about mint marks, grading, and varieties, coins once overlooked are now carefully examined. The 1979 D penny has earned its place in conversations among collectors who appreciate both its historical placement and its physical beauty when properly preserved. Coins like the 1979 D penny remind us that value is not always obvious at first glance. What seems small today can become significant tomorrow. Collectors who study, preserve, and respect these coins are not just investors. They are caretakers of history. This is the United States of America 1990 D Mint Mark 1-cent Lincoln Penny, a coin that quietly connects history, craftsmanship, collecting passion, and the thrill of hidden value. The year 1990 sits at an interesting crossroads in American history. The Cold War was ending, technology was beginning to reshape daily life, and the United States Mint was producing coins meant not for museums or collectors, but for everyday use. Millions of people used these pennies to buy newspapers, candy, and coffee, rarely giving them a second thought. Yet time has a way of transforming ordinary objects into pieces of history. And that is exactly what happened to the 1990 D Lincoln cent. The Lincoln penny itself carries a legacy that reaches far beyond 1990. First introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, it became the first circulating U.S. coin to feature a real person. By the time 1990 arrived, the Lincoln cent was already deeply woven into American culture. The familiar portrait of Lincoln on the front symbolized unity, resilience, and the ideals of the nation. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial design still stood proudly, a tribute to history and architecture, and a reminder that even the smallest coin can carry a powerful message. Now let's talk about that small but important detail, the D Mint mark. This single letter tells us that the coin was struck at the Denver Mint. For collectors, mint marks matter. They add layers of identity and rarity, distinguishing one coin from another even when the design looks nearly identical. The Denver Mint in 1990 was producing vast quantities of cents, yet within those massive numbers, certain coins stood out due to condition, strike quality, and preservation. What makes the 1990 D Lincoln cent especially interesting is not that it was rare when it was minted, but that it has become desirable when found in exceptional condition. Most of these pennies were heavily circulated, scratched, dulled, and worn by years of use. Finding one today that still shines with original luster, sharp details, and clean surfaces feels like discovering a time capsule from the early 1990s. That collectors are drawn to stories, and this coin has won. It tells the story of everyday America, of pockets and cash registers, of small transactions that fueled a big economy. It also tells the story of patience, because many collectors spent decades searching through rolls of pennies, hoping to find examples that stood above the rest. When one appears in outstanding condition, it represents hours of searching, learning, and passion. The metal composition of the 1990 Lincoln cent also plays a role in its identity. By this time, the U.S. Mint had shifted from mostly copper to a zinc core with a copper plating. This change marked a new era in coin production, reflecting economic realities and evolving minting technology. For collectors, this transition period adds another layer of interest because it highlights how even the materials of money evolve over time. Condition is everything in the world of coin collecting. A worn penny may carry sentimental value, but a well-preserved one carries excitement. Sharp lettering, strong details in Lincoln's hair and coat, and a clean, undamaged surface can transform a simple 1-cent coin into a standout collectible. The 1990 Lincoln cent, when preserved at a high level, becomes a perfect example of how quality can elevate something common into something special. There is also a psychological element to this coin's appeal. Pennies are often underestimated. They are the smallest denomination, the least valued in daily transactions, and sometimes even discarded. Yet, that underestimation is what makes the discovery of a valuable penny so thrilling. It flips expectations upside down. Suddenly, something once ignored commands attention and respect. For YouTube audiences, this kind of coin makes for a captivating story. Viewers love the idea that treasure might be hiding in plain sight. A 1990 Lincoln cent is relatable because many people have handled one before. When you explain that certain examples can hold significant worth, it sparks curiosity and excitement. People start looking at their spare change differently. They begin to wonder what else might be hiding right under their noses. Another reason this coin works so well in a video script is its balance between history and accessibility. You do not need to be an expert to appreciate it. The design is familiar, the year feels recent enough to feel personal, and the story is easy to follow. Yet at the same time, collectors can dive deeper into grading standards, minting details, and preservation techniques, making the topic rich and layered. The Lincoln penny also carries emotional weight. Abraham Lincoln represents honesty, leadership, and perseverance. Seeing his portrait on a coin minted in 1990 creates a bridge between past and present. It reminds us that values endure even as times change. Holding a 1990 penny is like holding a small piece of that ongoing American story as time passes. Coins like this continue to evolve in perception. What was once pocket change becomes a collectible artifact. What was once common becomes harder to find in top condition. This gradual transformation is part of what makes numismatics so fascinating. It is not just about money. It is about time, memory, and the stories we attach to objects. When you build a YouTube video around this coin, you are not just talking about metal and numbers. You are inviting viewers into a journey. You are asking them to slow down, to look closely, and to appreciate details they may have overlooked for years. You are showing them that history is not always locked behind glass in a museum. Sometimes, it is hiding in a coin jar. Video dives deep into one such fascinating piece. The United States of America 2008 Mint Mark 1-cent Lincoln penny. This coin may look ordinary at first glance, but for collectors and curious minds alike, it represents far more than loose change. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why this penny has captured attention, what makes it special, and why collectors continue to search for it with excitement and passion. The Lincoln cent is one of the most iconic coins ever produced by the United States. First introduced in the early 20th century, it was the first American coin to feature a real historical figure. Abraham Lincoln's portrait symbolizes unity, strength, and resilience, and that symbolism carried forward into every Lincoln cent struck, including the one minted in 2008. By the time this penny was produced, the Lincoln cent had already passed through decades of design evolution, metal changes, and historical milestones. Yet the soul of the coin remained the same, a tribute to one of America's most respected presidents and a reflection of the nation's journey through time. The year 2008 holds a unique place in modern American history. It was a time of economic uncertainty, cultural shifts, and rapid technological change. Coins minted during this period are often viewed as historical markers, quietly witnessing major events while circulating through millions of hands. The 2008 1-cent coin captures this moment in time perfectly. It represents everyday life during a period when people relied heavily on cash transactions, pocket change, and physical currency. Today, as digital payments dominate, this penny stands as a reminder of a not-so-distant era when coins played a central role in daily commerce. One of the most important features collectors look for on any coin is the mint mark. The mint mark tells us where the coin was produced, and it can significantly affect desirability and collectability. On a 2008 Lincoln penny, the mint mark reveals its origin and helps collectors distinguish between different production facilities. Coins from different mints can vary slightly in strike quality, surface detail, and overall appearance. These subtle differences often determine whether a coin is considered common or worthy of closer inspection. For collectors, identifying the mint mark is like unlocking the first clue in a treasure hunt. The obverse of the 2008 Lincoln penny features the familiar right-facing portrait of Abraham Lincoln. The design is clean, dignified, and instantly recognizable. Every line, from Lincoln's profile to the lettering, reflects decades of careful engraving tradition. On the reverse side, the design used during this period highlights the Lincoln Memorial, a structure deeply connected to the legacy of Abraham Lincoln himself. The memorial design adds depth and symbolism, reminding collectors that this coin is more than metal. It's a miniature monument in your hand. When examined closely, collectors pay attention to sharpness of detail, clarity of inscriptions, and overall balance of the design. Even the smallest imperfections or variations can spark interest and discussion within the numismatic community. Condition plays a massive role in determining a coin's appeal. A well-preserved 2008 Lincoln penny with minimal wear can stand out dramatically compared to one that has circulated heavily. Collectors often look for coins with strong luster, clean surfaces, and crisp details. Coins that appear almost untouched feel special because they represent how the coin looked the moment it left the mint. These examples are often carefully stored, examined under magnification, and appreciated for their near-perfect preservation. You might wonder why a modern 1-cent coin would attract serious attention at all. The answer lies in the passion of collectors and the stories embedded within each piece. Even recent coins can gain recognition due to minting characteristics, demand, and collector interest. For many enthusiasts, collecting is not just about age. It's about significance, condition, and rarity within a specific context. The 2008 mint mark Lincoln penny fits neatly into this philosophy, offering collectors a modern coin with historical relevance and visual appeal. Demand is a powerful force in the coin world. As more collectors seek specific coins to complete sets or explore modern U.S. coinage, attention naturally grows. The 2008 Lincoln penny benefits from this steady interest, especially among collectors who focus on complete year and mint collections. As time passes, fewer high-quality examples remain easily accessible. Coins get lost, damaged, or forgotten. This gradual reduction in availability keeps collectors searching and fuels ongoing fascination with coins like this one. Proper storage is essential for anyone interested in keeping a coin in top condition. Collectors often use protective holders, albums, or cases to shield coins from air, moisture, and handling. Even a single fingerprint can affect a coin's surface over time. The 2008 Lincoln penny, when stored correctly, can maintain its visual appeal and collector interest for years. Preservation ensures that future generations can appreciate the coin just as clearly as collectors do today. Beyond value and condition, there is an emotional connection that draws people into coin collecting. Holding a coin minted during a significant year can spark memories, curiosity, and a sense of connection to the past. For some collectors, the 2008 penny represents a personal moment in time. For others, it's a piece of a much larger collection that tells the story of American coinage 1 cent at a time. The United States of America 2008 mint mark 1 cent Lincoln penny may seem modest, but its story is anything but small. From its historical context to its detailed design and collector interest, this coin proves that even everyday currency can hold lasting fascination. Today, we're diving deep into a coin that almost everyone has seen, spent, or ignored in their pocket, but very few truly understand. This video is all about the United States of America 2017 P Mint Mark 1 cent Lincoln penny. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary copper-colored coin. It feels light, it sounds familiar, and it seems simple. But behind this humble penny is a powerful story of history, design, minting details, collector curiosity, and surprising value potential that makes it far more interesting than most people ever imagine. If you've ever wondered whether modern pennies can actually be worth money, or if pocket change can hide something special, you're in exactly the right place. Today, we're not rushing. We're going to slow down, look closely, and really understand why the 2017 P Lincoln cent matters and why collectors still talk about it. The legacy of the Lincoln penny. The Lincoln penny is one of the most iconic coins ever produced by the United States. First introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical person. That decision alone changed American coinage forever. By the time the year 2017 arrived, the Lincoln cent had already passed more than a century of continuous production. Yet even after all those years, the coin still carried the same symbolic weight. Abraham Lincoln remains a figure associated with unity, perseverance, and moral strength, and every penny continues to quietly pass that legacy from hand to hand. The 2017 issue may be modern, but it is directly connected to that long and powerful tradition that understanding the P Mint arc. One of the most important details on this coin is the small letter P. That single letter tells us the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Historically, Philadelphia pennies did not always carry a mint mark, so the presence of a P is already a modern identifier. The Philadelphia Mint is the oldest operating mint in the United States. It is known for high production quality and massive output. In 2017, millions of pennies were produced there, yet each coin still had to meet strict standards for weight, diameter, and strike quality. Collectors pay close attention to Philadelphia Mint coins because they often represent the baseline standard for an issue. Any variation, error, or exceptional condition coming from this mint can instantly become more desirable. Design details on the obverse. Let's start with the front side of the coin, known as the obverse. At the center is the familiar right-facing portrait of Abraham Lincoln, originally designed by Victor David Brenner. Even after more than 100 years, this portrait remains one of the most recognized images in American coinage. Above Lincoln's head is the word liberty, a reminder of the ideals the nation strives for. To the right of Lincoln is the date, 2017, and just below that, the P Mint mark. To the left, you'll see the phrase, "I in God we trust." On high-quality examples, the details in Lincoln's hair, coat, and facial features appear sharp and well-defined. Collectors often examine these areas closely, looking for softness, doubling, or unusual texture that could indicate something special. At the reverse design and its energy turning the coin over, we see the reverse design known as the Union Shield. This design was introduced in 2010 and symbolizes Lincoln's role in preserving the unity of the United States. The shield features 13 vertical stripes representing the original colonies, held together by a horizontal bar across the top. Above the shield are the words E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one. Below, the denomination 1 cent and the words United States of America are clearly displayed. This design is clean, modern, and symbolic, making it especially appealing to collectors who appreciate meaning as much as appearance. Metal composition and Fe. Although many people assume pennies are made of copper, the modern Lincoln cent is actually composed primarily of zinc, with a thin copper coating. This composition has been used since the early 1980s and was still in place in 2017. The coin feels lightweight, but it is precisely engineered. Even tiny deviations in weight or thickness can be important to collectors. Some seek out pennies that feel slightly off, as they can sometimes indicate minting anomalies. That's why collectors pay attention to 2017. So why does the 2017 P Lincoln penny matter when so many were made? The answer lies in condition, curiosity, and the constant search for standout examples. Collectors look for coins with exceptional strike quality, mirror-like surfaces, strong details, or unusual characteristics. Even modern coins can become desirable if they survive in pristine condition or display unusual features that set them apart. Additionally, 2017 represents a period where many people were no longer paying close attention to pennies at all. That irony makes well-preserved examples more interesting, because fewer people intentionally save them. Errors, variations, and collector X. And while not every 2017 penny has an error, collectors are always searching. Errors can include off-center strikes, die cracks, doubling, or unusual surface textures. When found, these details can transform an ordinary coin into a conversation piece. Even without dramatic errors, subtle variations can make certain coins stand out. That thrill of discovery is a big reason collectors continue to examine modern pennies closely. The emotional side of coins. Ninja coins are not just metal. They carry stories, moments, and connections. A 2017 penny may have passed through countless hands, bought coffee, dropped into jars, or rested in pockets during everyday life. Collectors appreciate that quiet journey. Holding a well-preserved Lincoln cent reminds people that history is still being made, even in the smallest denominations. Final thoughts on value and the 2017 Mint Mark Lincoln penny proves that even modern coins can spark fascination. While most examples are worth face value, certain coins in exceptional condition or with special characteristics can attract serious attention.